I lost 23 kilos and went from this to this in about 9 months. In order to lose that much weight, I tried many different things like intermittent fasting, keto, eating once a day, counting calories, weighing portions, a dietist, running, and Muay Thai. In this video, I tell you how I lost 23 kilos and how I have been maintaining my weight for years without restrictions. So the journey starts years ago when the world was opening again after COVID. During lockdowns, I kind of exploded and gained a lot of weight. At the highest point, my weight was 96.8 kilos and my length is 180. So that basically means I'm obese, or I was obese. And the moment that I realized that, I decided I really needed to lose a lot of weight and prioritize my health a bit more. So my goal became to get below 80 kilos, and I decided that would be like at least a healthier weight for me. So that's what I set my mind to, and the first move for me was to start running because I felt like that's logical. So from day one that I started running, I honestly didn't really enjoy it. I didn't hate it, but overall, I just wasn't very excited about it. And I felt like it would be much easier if I would have some sports that I actually enjoyed, because I just didn't feel like I was going to be running consistently. So in the past, I did kickboxing back in the Netherlands, and I used to like that a lot. So I started to search for places like that, and it turned out near my house here in Jakarta, there is a Muay Thai camp. So I went there and tried it out. And I remember the first class was with a coach who is actually still there. And already during the warming up, which was like 10 minutes of rope jumping, I already felt like I was, completely done actually. So then the actual class still had to start, and I was already like, really just done. What followed was probably one of the hardest physical things that I've ever done in my life. At least that's how I experienced at that point. Because this gym, like many gyms, Muay Thai gyms here in Southeast Asia, they have a bit more of a traditional approach to Muay Thai. And that means the classes include a lot of conditioning or cardio work, or push-ups, sit-ups, squats, burpees, squat jumps, of course rope jumping, and like small sprints and stuff like that. A lot of body weight conditioning. And that is basically the first 30 to 40 minutes of the class. So during these exercises, I literally felt like I was dying. And the days after, I could barely walk. I felt it in my shoulders, my legs, especially upper legs, my thighs, my calves, my belly, chest, literally everywhere. And I remember especially walking up and down the stairs was such fucking pain that I just relive through the pain if I think about it. That was really bad. But at the same time, I also mentally felt really good about it. The thought that kept on coming back in my mind was, imagine doing this 3 times a week. You would lose weight so fast. And in my mind, I was already envisioning myself like a Spartan warrior from the movie 300, who's like a ripped savage. And that idea of doing this consistently, this kind of training, was really what kept me going in the beginning. And it sounds a bit strange maybe, but the getting physically destroyed like that was actually what kept me going at the same time. Yeah, that was interesting. And compared to the running, this did so much more to me than the running. So I decided to stick with it. And in the beginning, that was maybe once or twice a week only. I think the first week this was literally just one time because my body just needed more time to recover. But after a while, it became 2 times per week, and sometimes I would do like an occasional run and things like that. So yeah, the sports, it started to take off quite nicely after I decided that I wanted to lose a lot of weight. And that was interesting because while I was going to the Muay Thai gym, I noticed after a while that also things started to happen more mentally. And what happened was that after Muay Thai classes, I started to think a little bit different about snacks. So instead of eating basically everything that would appear in front of me, I started to think more, am I really going through hours of Muay Thai hell for just one piece of chocolate cake? And those kind of thoughts started to become more prominent in my mind. And it also started to raise more questions like how much weight do I actually lose with one Muay Thai session, and questions like that. So in order to answer these questions, of course, I started to research a bit, especially on YouTube. And among all the annoying fitness gurus who are all spreading like contradicting advices, and it's really cringe and annoying. But there was one thing that kept coming back that actually, was super useful to me. And it's a very basic and simple thing. But at that time, I had never heard of it, and it would give me so much more control over my entire weight loss process that I think I would like to share it here. And so what I picked up was that losing weight basically comes down to getting less calories in than you use. And it doesn't get more simple or basic than that. But that is actually why it's so powerful, because it instantly gave me much more control, because now I had something simple and practical to work with. I could calculate how much calories I was actually consuming, and I could estimate how much calories I was actually burning. So I started understanding a little bit more like what's coming in, what's going out, and how can I improve that, or how can I make sure that I burn much more, or that the difference between what's coming in terms of calories and what I'm burning, that gets as much as big as possible, because the bigger the difference between what I use and what I get, the faster the weight loss. So I started to change my diet, and of course the obvious things first. So eat less candy, eat less chips, don't order McDonald's at 2 a.m., swap cola, like regular cola, for Cola Zero, drink water instead of Pocari or Gatorade or Powerade or some kind of sugary drink during Muay Thai trainings. Just stuff like that, really basic. But these couple of things already did quite a lot, because after less than 3 months for sure, I got my weight down from 96.8 to I think around 85, 86. It always goes up and down a little bit, so you can never say exactly this, but 10, 11 kilos, and then it goes up and down around 85. So that went pretty fast. But just at the point where it was going really well and I got the momentum and I felt really good about myself, the weight loss started to slow down. And actually, it didn't just slow down, it really, stopped going down at all. And that was super frustrating, of course, but I thought, okay, I just need to do more or try different things or do other things. And I started to experiment a lot of things with intermittent fasting. I tried keto, and sometimes some things seemed to work and sometimes it didn't really work. So the scale would go up and down every day, and it became quite a bit, frustrating, and it made me push a bit harder. So I thought, okay, the intermittent fasting, I heard so many good things about it. So I thought that has to work. I'm just doing it wrong. I need to make the windows, the non-eating window bigger and the eating window smaller. So if you don't know intermittent fasting, basically you give yourself a window of time every day in which you're allowed to eat. That is, normally you eat for a window of 8 hours, and then 16 hours you're not allowed to eat. You can drink water or black coffee or black tea, but you don't eat. And then the idea is that you give your body more time to process and you eat less and stuff like that. So I started to do that, and it didn't really work very much, a bit maybe, but not really a lot. And it didn't go fast enough, especially. So I decided to change the windows, and 8 hours became 6 hours, became 4 hours, became like eventually I was eating once a day. And then I started to, of course, see the scale going down again. So I was happy, but at the same time I hated it because I was hungry all the time and I felt weak, and it was clearly not very healthy. So I started to eat again, and then directly the scale went up again. Really frustrating. And I just kept on trying things like that for at least 2, maybe 3 months again. And then I just couldn't figure it out. So I tried different kind of things there, but this was just an example. And eventually I just realized I needed somebody's help. And I started to look around and find all kinds of coaches and dietists and personal fitness people and all that. And I found one person that I thought, okay, this person sounds a bit, the right fit. So I started to work with her actually. And we worked online. So she was in the Netherlands and I'm working online with her from Indonesia. And one of the first things she asked me was to maintain a food diary. So every day I wrote down what I was eating and drinking, and including the exact amounts of food that I was eating and drinking with every meal and snack and so on. And while doing that, we figured out the problem. So obviously, I was eating way less garbage than I was eating before. So that was pretty good. But it seemed, and I never really thought of that even, but it seemed that I was eating really big portions. And also, when I was eating healthier, when I was thinking I was eating healthier, I would still get really big amounts of calories in. So, for example, I started to eat oats a while before that already because it's supposed to be healthy, but also for practical reasons for lunch. And to make it nicer, I would add cinnamon, chia seeds, and mixed nuts. And in my opinion, these things are all like just healthy things and just to give it a little nicer taste. I never knew that mixed nuts like almonds and walnuts that they are super rich in calories. So I was overeating like that, and it's just like two small things in a lunch, and that's were just like big calorie bombs basically creeping into my, I thought, healthy diet. So that was a problem, and we figured it out with the coach. And then there turned out to be more things like that. So another example was for salads, for example. So I started to eat much more salads. I actually quite liked the eating the salads also, so that was no problem for me. But I thought it was really healthy, and then it turned out that the salad dressings that I was using were also super rich in calories. So again, that was like I thought I was doing it well, but it turned out I wasn't really. So yeah, those kind of things we found out by working together with this diet coach. So that was very well. And then I continued working with her and I started doing things that I, yeah, beforehand never would have thought that I would ever do it, like weighing everything and really getting into the details. But actually, these kind of things were really what helped me to break basically through that 85 kilo borderline, which I wanted to break through, of course. So it was, a bit difficult at points, but finally we got through it, and then I noticed that the scale was going down again. So very happy with that. One other thing that I learned from this coach that I think is very good idea for many people, and that is more the idea is to eat functional and not per se what you always want or what you always feel like, but just food that is low in calories, gives a lot of energy, is healthy, is what your body needs, and that's really fine. So I mentioned the oats earlier. Before I started eating oats, I always wanted to have like nice Indonesian food for lunch. So I would order fried rice with satay and stuff like that, peanut sauce. So yeah, that's really unnecessary. It's nice, but it's really unnecessary. And it doesn't really matter if you eat from Monday until Friday or Thursday for lunch. If you just eat something functional, it doesn't matter. The world's not going to go down. You will survive. You will be fine. Actually, you feel often much better. So for me, that was quite big, and that is something. One of the few things that I experimented with that actually I'm still doing and that I'm still happy about, and that I still tell other people as well if they ask me what was really helpful to my journey. Those are a couple of things. And yeah, then the scale started to go down again. By now we are around 85, 84, and we are a bit over 5 months in. And from that point, it started to go really well, actually. So I feel like because the scale was going down more, I also felt more excited to do more because it was working again. My energy levels were increasing because of the Muay Thai, so I started to add an extra session. Muay Thai also became my social circle, so I really enjoyed going there. And yeah, of course, I after every session I felt so good about myself that I did it again, and then I felt more motivated and it became easier to make healthier choices in terms of diet. So it really started to, yeah, get into like a flywheel. It builds up the momentum and it gets just better and better. And the skills started to drop more and more, and my weight was getting pretty low. And actually, I think after a while, I started to overdo it a little bit. About 4 months later again, we are now at the end of November. So that's 9 months after I started this whole journey. I reached the weight a little bit below 73. I don't know exactly anymore, but it was at least the lowest body weight I have ever had as an adult. And at that point, I started to get really too thin that it didn't look, very healthy anymore, actually. So I started to get some comments from my wife and from my mother and other people around me also. And then I realized, okay, I'm taking it a little bit too far. So I decided, okay, let's take it slowly. I still like to train a lot, and if I can, I'll go 5 days a week or 6. I really enjoy it. But I just take it a bit, more chilled with the food, and then that was going really well for me. So I settled around 76, 77 kilos. As I mentioned, I'm 180. I think I also gained a little bit more muscle since, so that's pretty good weight for me, and it seems I can maintain that weight really easily without any restrictions. And that's basically how the story went. So in total, about 23 kilos to the lowest point, then up a little bit, so 20 kilos less than I was. And I have been at this weight for years by now. So I think I really changed, and I really, got it down now. It doesn't take me much work or discipline or anything. It just became my lifestyle. I really enjoy it like this. So this is what it is. And to conclude, I think the things that have been most important to me were 5 things, and I like to share them to summarize this journey in 5 bullets, and hopefully some of it is helpful to you as well. So first of all, the most important thing maybe was to find a sport that you actually really and want to do, where you're looking forward to do it, and that you think, this I can do for a long time and I will enjoy for a long time. Then the second thing is I experimented a lot. I accepted that a lot of things were going to fail and not work. I think that I liked that approach already from my work and things like that. So it doesn't matter if things fail. Even every time when you fail something, there are still learnings, insights, and all these learnings still have helped me to find a way in the end that works for me, and that makes it like, maintaining a healthy weight, healthy lifestyle automatically, basically. So experiment a lot, and doesn't matter if it fails, just pick out the learning and move on. That's much better than trying to find the perfect thing and end up not doing anything at all anyway. So the third one, that's also the idea about the functional eating, and not to be too emotional about food. And with being too emotional about food, like, it doesn't matter if you feel like eating something, but you cannot eat that, and you pick something more functional instead. If you have, of course, you want to enjoy your food, but to have sometimes really boring stuff, like a little bit of red rice or white rice, whatever, and cooked broccoli and grilled chicken, it's not a feast, but it could be way worse, by the way, and it's really fine, and it's just really a good type of meal for your body. So sometimes to eat like that, plain, boring, doesn't matter, it's functional, and that's all you need. All right, then the third, no, that was the third one. And one more thing, if you need to motivate yourself for that, one thing that I sometimes have been thinking about, a quote, I heard it from, I forgot, from Amir Khan, I think, is a Singaporean MMA fighter, but that doesn't matter. So the decisions like that, to eat functional instead of emotional, just a way to think about it is that it's so much easier to not eat 1,000 calories than to lose 1,000 calories by doing Muay Thai, for example. And just think of it like that. That's the instant reward that you get if you choose functional eating over something that you really want, I feel like, and that's tastier. All right. The fourth thing that helped me a lot was to learn from YouTube. There's so much information out there, and some stuff is quite shit, but a lot of stuff is also pretty good. And I think just a couple of good insights can make life so much easier, or give so much more control, or yeah, help you to reach your goals so much faster. To me, it was the super basic insight that burn more calories than you get in and you lose weight. Okay, super practical, simple, basic, whatever, it works for me. And find a couple of insights like that. Just spend some hours YouTubing for ways to reach the goal that you have on mind. And yeah, then just a couple of insights like that can help you get to your goal so much faster. At least that's my experience. And the last one, of course, I have to mention the personal help of the expert was invaluable to me. For example, I thought about weighing my portions. I would have never done that myself. I had quite a strong opinion about things like that before I started to work with this coach, but this person told me that it was really just, yeah, some stupid thoughts actually that I made up in my mind why I should never be the type of person who does that. And it was actually really helpful. And probably without these kind of reflections from an expert, I would have, yeah, maybe stayed even stuck at that 85 kilo border. So those 5 bullets are my main takeaways. I hope there's at least one in them that helps you in whatever journey you are. If it's weight loss, then I hope you're going to reach your goal soon. And I think these 5 things will definitely help you with that. At least I know for sure it did for me. And more than just the weight loss, it helped me to maintain my weight already for almost 5 years. At the moment of recording this, I have been working out quite consistently 3 to 5 times a week since then. And I'm maintaining weight without real restrictions in terms of diet. I really hope that there was something helpful or interesting for you in this video. And if you are in your 30s and you're looking for a fun way to lose weight, consider starting Muay Thai, because it might just change your life like how it did for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.